Hey everyone, welcome to Dave's Bonsai. On today's episode, I get to put some water in the fish tank. Happy New Year to everybody. When you see this, it'll probably be the new year for sure. I'm recording this on the 31st of December, and we're gonna go back a week and check what I did on Christmas Eve. But before we do that, I did get a really lovely Christmas present from my daughter. So I wanted to show it off to you all here. Yeah, it says, I'll be in my office. I'll be in my office. Thanks to my daughter for that Christmas present. Fabulous. And I'm wearing it a lot in my office, which is also known as my plant room. So on Christmas Eve, I wanted to do something with my pot tank bonsai thing, but it was Christmas Eve and people were coming over, and is that a good time really to start working on the project again? Well, let's see what I ended up doing. It's Christmas Eve and it's T-minus about 2 hours before the relatives come over and we have our celebration. And the patient side of me, the more thoughtful, considerate, think before you act side of me says I shouldn't do this experiment right now. The other side of me though, of course, the kid in me, that Christmas waking up and excitement, I want to see if this is going to hold. So everything has been in here for 48 hours. I'm going to pour some water in and we're going to see, we're going to reveal if it drips any water. And if it starts to drip, we have to stop and we'll have a mess to clean up right before the relatives come over. Let's go for it. Ready just in case. And here we go. About an inch of water, and so far no drips. About 3 inches of water, 1 inch above the pot, and we have a drip. So the back corner has a drip. We got one towel down. It's hard to tell where the leak came through, but it was running off this left side as you look at the front of the tank. And so I'm thinking this corner piece back here, right in this area here, there's still a hole in here. So we have some more silicone. We're gonna go ahead and do some more silicone around all the edges just to be sure again. And then we'll do another test. I have to take several tests before the final product, otherwise it'll never work. So not too bad of a mess, better clean it up. Happy holidays everybody. In a click for you, but several hours or days later for me. Obviously it was a very quick test. We put some water in, it didn't leak at first, but by the time it went through the little cracks of where it was leaking, I had to stop the experiment, get rid of the water in the tank and dry everything up, and then focus on the holiday. And I did that. And so then I worked on the tank a little bit later. So let's go check and see what happened after that, after the Christmas holiday was done. It's about 48 hours after I did my test for the sealant for the fish tank. And there was a little leak after the water got an inch or so high and was in there for a few moments. It had a leak. And so it had to be somewhere from the midway down that the leak happened. So I don't know about these top parts yet. So I don't want to overdo the sealant unless I know there's a leak and an issue. But upon inspection, after I took the water out and look at the little shiny spot right here. Yeah, that's one of the staples I put in. That will not be a tight seal. So we're going to put some sealant right into this crack right here. We're going to put some more just on these general cracks right here and make sure this part right here where there's another crease in here, we're going to make sure that's all nice up to here. So we're going to put some sealant there now to make sure that hopefully will solve the leak. Then we'll test it again and then we'll put more water in, and if there's more leaks, we'll put more sealant in. So everything's dry, ready to go. The next thing for me to do is to mask up. Now, when you're using this fish tank sealer, make sure that you do mask up because it's very potent stuff. You don't want to get in your cuts or scrapes or anything. You don't want it to get in your eyes, and you definitely don't want to breathe it in too closely. When you put it in, open this thing up and start putting it in. You're lean down, bent over, trying to put the sealant in. The fumes just come right up in your nose. You can actually feel some slight burning when you breathe it in too much. How do I know that, you ask? Well, it says so on the instructions. And then I did it at first and felt it a little bit and realized I better put my mask on. So let's practice what I preach. Let's poke a hole in the sealant and let's get some new sealant on. The sealant is in its place. We put it where we believe the leak is. I don't want to waste sealant. And so now it's really nice and smooth down in here. It's really nice and smooth out in this corner. And water never got up above, too much above, about a third of the way up the glass here. So we got to let this dry for 48 hours before we can give it a test. So we'll come back to this in a couple of days and work on this, put some water in here, and see if our sealant is doing its job. So while that sealant is drying, I'm starting to think about some rock combinations for the leftover open spaces of the Bonsai pot tank. This has a piece of wood on the back side when we constructed it. And of course, in retrospect, one of the things that I would do differently next time I'd make this pot is I need a board on this side. It's the back. It doesn't have to be rocks. It's too much weight if we have all rocks. So this is wood, lightweight. I should have had wood right here. But I don't. I didn't put it on there. And so we have to live with our mistakes. So I have this really cool rock that has a really nice flat edge on it. And it's curved a little bit right here. And look at how it sits right here in the back. And I can put it right where the wood ends here in this little part of this pond liner is. And I can cement it in place right there. And it has just an absolutely wonderful connection point back here. And so it's not pretty flat up here. It's about the height up here that we need it to be for if we put some future stones along the back here for the edge of the cliff going into the water. Water come right up to the edge of this glass here, and we've got some nice stuff there. I can maybe put this more at an angle. I could put it down right below that rock and have it downhill, if you will. Those decisions will come last. And those decisions might be small rocks too. An update, I've ordered some rocks, some slate rock that's a darker gray blackish look that'll match all of these colors. And they're only like 2 to 5 inches big. And they're gonna be, and the whole thing I ordered is less than 5 pounds. And so I'll have all these pieces parts to kind of put together the top part and maybe more the final part of the pot tank. I also was thinking, well, what can I put on here that's lightweight, that is still like a rock looking thing, that won't add much weight, but it'll maybe hold in some of the bonsai soil. And I went to my local pet store and I found this critter rock. So you see it's like a cave. You put this down and that's where your salamanders or your geckos or whatever you have that's in the creepy crawler world. And it's a nice cave. So it's hollow. It's also made with some kind of resin that's not as heavy as this rock. So this rock is probably 3 or 4 pounds. This one is not even 1 pound. So a lot of difference on the weight. So though I considered this early on, I was really kind of in that mindset that I put all of these rocks right here, because look at how pretty that rock is. That rock is cool. It's a perfect height, but it's also 4 pounds maybe. 3, 4 pounds versus not even 1 pound. Maybe a pound. And so when I put this one on here, I thought, okay, can I put this one right here? And the way the rock curves around here, it actually curves almost into the curvy swoop of this rock. And it sits right there. And if I change the angle so it fits in the swoop, and I cement the rock like this, it hugs right here, it hugs in here, and I have all this space for trees to grow. Now the only problem with this now is this could hold a lot of bonsai soil, which is great, but then it's not gonna leak out of the pot very well. So I'd have to add maybe either pond liner in here to direct all the water this way. And so I could epoxy or put some pond liner on here on the edge here, and then glue it to this lip right here, so all the water would come to my 3 drainage holes over here. And then when that is there, I actually took this rock, and because the cave of the rock is curved, and this round rock, which I absolutely love, it is heavy, but I don't have to epoxy or glue this anywhere. This could just sit here right in the curve of that structure right there, because it's curved already. Whoop, I just lost that back piece. Let me put that back in place. See, this would all have to be cemented in first before I do this. And so once that's in place, and if I can add this curve element right there, it just like sits in that curve beautifully. When you look from this side, which you can't see on camera right now, it fits actually in the groove of the rock, so people looking at this pot from the side would still make it think it looks pretty decent. My only problem with this rock is its color. So it's a little light gray for everything else that I'm doing, and I just ordered some dark slate gray. This is kind of light, but there could be some of this rock in the middle of this rock, or maybe I get some spray paint and paint this a little darker, because I really like the weight. So, and this rock right here could even sit right here, and I'd like it, because I just love the texture of this rock up here. So I have some decisions to make. One, will I use it? If I do, I'll need some darker gray. And I could spray paint the bottom and see if I like it. And if I do like it, I could spray the rest. Make it a little bit darker, because I love how it curves and fits all back here. We got a nice big area for a nice tree back here. This could be really, really fun. I also could turn this around upside down, like that. And then you have this little bit of a flat top, curves down here a little bit. And again, there's some loose parts back here, but this will be all bonsai soil, and no big deal. We'd fill in the gaps down below. And again, there's a part where the soil would slip in here. And we wouldn't want that, because then there'd be water that would come down here, and all these parts of the pot aren't protected. So I might want to put a pond liner right here, so the water can then again drip here. We guide the water to our drain holes. And that's not even that bad. This rock doesn't sit on there as nice anymore. But again, remember, I want a tree up here, not big rocks. So now we put littler rocks. So say I get a bunch of slate rocks like this, and I have a little rock that sits right here, a little rock that sits into this crack, the bonsai soil is there. They just can sit on top wherever they fit, and we'll have our decoration. So some things to think about. I like it both ways. This way seems really, really nice, but that's if I use this big rock. And if I did use this big rock, I would take up some of the planting spot for the trees. So I don't even know if I like this way best, even though it fits in there so nice. My other option, of course, is to come to this side. Now this side is where the water is going to come up. So let me show you. I do have a water tube that I tested out, and I'll be showing you that in a future episode. But I have this was going to be the water source. And so the water source will come right up here from the back side, and it's just going to be in place right here, and it's going to come down, it's going to flow over the edge here. So when we get a rock structure here that's a little bit taller, and it goes downhill, the rock will just come magically up here from underneath some rock structures and go over this part of the edge of the rock cliff. Now for that to do that, I need something tall over here, and then if this is over this right here, there's where the black tubing comes underneath. And if I have rocks blocking and directing the water over one area, then we can have this waterfall. Now if I do this right and have the waterfall about here, I still could put a tree right there, and then have the creek come right here, and their tree could have plenty of spot for roots to grow down in there. And then this little creek path, which would be on top of a layer of rocks, would hold the water. And I can manipulate it if I need to from year to year. So that is going to be a real fun part of this project, is where is this hose going to come around the corner here and flow into the fish tank. Behind this tree, and then in front of the, or between the trees really. Because the hope is to have at least one big tree here, a small one or two trees here, and then a couple trees back here, with a big one maybe at the edge and a littler one right here, and the water comes right where the tube is. That's the thought anyway. The water could come this way and then curve this way, so it could have some curve to it. So do I put this here? Like if I turn it upside down, then I have that flat side right here, and then we have rocks that can sit like that. And again, from this side, this doesn't look too bad because we have a round rock and a round rock. These are all jagged, and these are more round, so that's the dilemma I have. Do we have some, because this looks really water worn and weathered over time, where this one is still jaggedy, so they don't quite match as much. But maybe water hit this more than it ever hit this, you never know. I could put it up here and it's all hidden, unless you come from the side, and then you see this big round rock here. But that would also have a nice area here for a tree to grow in. You just have to play around a little bit. So I will continue to play, move some rocks around, see what I have, and then when I get my shipment of little rocks, I'll see what they're looking like, and then we can start putting some of these things together for a final side structure of this. And once the sides are in, then we can put bonsai soil in just for a sample. We won't plant trees yet, but we'll put the bonsai soil in, and then we'll see how everything fits, where we can just lay these loose rocks right on the bonsai soil and make some paths and make some structures that we like that come over the edge. So we have our pot and our tank. So before we put any soil in, and before the sides need to be in, I do need to cover up these drain holes. So let's do that today. So here, here, and here, we have 3 drain holes. We have 3 on each side that we have to cover up. Now I've already flex sealed around here several times, so hopefully no water seeps anywhere but down in the tubes. And there's a few low spots in here that water might sit for a little bit. I have to be careful of that and watch that. We may want to build this section up right here a little bit with some material, so the water wants to flow into these and they don't sit in the crevices here. So we'll have to watch that closely. Now ficuses will be in here, so they like a lot of water, and I might not have to worry about it so much. But a lot of trees, of course, don't like to have their roots sitting into a lot of water. So I have these pre-circle drain screens that can go right there, that can go right there, and can go right there. And then I have 3 for the other side. That will do next. And you see how this is higher now than this area right here, so the water is going to pool in there before it gets down into there, right there. So again, I might have to do some placement of some more pond liner just to make sure the water doesn't drain down in here, and these pipes could be a little bit lower. But what we are going to do is we're going to seal these in place. So I've used Flex Seal in the past for these, but I'm going to use my sealant. The sealant that I have will be a nice firm hold on here. We don't need a ton, and we'll be able to keep these in place so we don't lose rocks down these holes. So let's go ahead and we're going to put some sealant on here. I'm going to get my mask back on, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to put those in place. So just that little bit of sealant in 4 corners will hold these drainage screens in place for me, so the water can go down and drain out. But we don't want water pooling in here too much, right? So we'll put another layer of pond layer right here, just a thin little layer that kind of starts up here, folds down here, and maybe even folds up to the rock layer. Once we get that up here, that'll be the last thing we do. We'll have this other pond layer, and we'll put holes in it right there, and then we'll seal it again so it doesn't move around, and then the water will go all down right to those drain holes, so it'll drain really, really nicely. So I have put this rock on and off about 6-7 times, and I just really like how it hugs this side right here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to glue this into place right here.
So we have one spot in there that I think water could settle, and if we put a piece of pond liner in there, that'll help. But I'm just going to put this right there to make sure water doesn't pool right there. And again, we can come back in here later and spray a little bit of Flex Seal in there as well. What we do is we tape up the hole and then we Flex Seal all around it, and that helps up build it up as well. So the seal has to sit for 48 hours before we can put more water in. This needs 24 to 48 hours to seal as well. And now we have rocks in the front on this side and a rock on the back. We just need some sheer rocks over here, and we have a bonsai pot. And whether we decide to go this route down the road or not, we'll decide that later. We're just going to go one at a time here and make sure this is nice and solid and where we want it, and so far it's looking good. I think this is a good spot to stop for today, so these can all do some healing.
Every step closer to the finished project is super exciting when you're working on a project like this. We put some more sealant in here. Hopefully that's going to fix the leaks. We'll put some water here in a couple of days. We got this back rock all in place with cement. That's going to harden and keep it in place. We might have to adjust how we're going to put some pond liner in here again to make these drain holes the bottom part of the pot and not raised up. So little issues that you learn as you go when making this. I should have put those a little bit lower down, right? But that's okay. We still have a good couple of inches of soil that we can have roots grow, and we're only going to have, 3 or 4 trees, maybe 5 tops on top over the years. We'll just see how things grow. And so now it's the be patient and wait mode. So we're going to go ahead and let all this dry, and I won't do anything else today. I'll have to give it at least 24 hours for this to dry, and then 48 hours before water, but maybe I'll start working on the other side and take a peek at some of my rocks. Fun progress on the bonsai pot tank. The other problem about putting the sealant on indoors, the mask is off now and I'm not feeling any burning sensation. It's starting to dry slowly, but I need to move this. So my plant room is right below our living room, which is right below our bedroom. So these fumes like go and waft all up into, we don't want that. So we're gonna go put it on the other side of the house where it goes near the garage and it's not so smelly in our house. Yeah, so we have to pick this up. So I haven't picked it up in a while. I haven't weighed it in a while either, so I don't know if we're at 50 pounds yet. Nah, we're not. 30 pounds maybe? Ooh, maybe 40. Let's go put it in the new spot to dry and get rid of that smell. I'm loving the progress of the bonsai pot tank. We've got fronts and backs with rocks and things cemented in, and we got a lot of sealant on this fish tank pot. I think I'm up to about 6 little 3 ounces of sealant are on the tank right now. So we gotta let that thing dry. It's off in the other room where the fumes don't bother us in the house. And now we just have to wait, that waiting game, tick-tock, tick-tock. So that really does it for another episode. We just have to play the waiting game, but we have a lot more to come. So can't wait to see these updates coming up for you, because we are gonna check some bonsai soil. We're gonna do another water test. We're gonna put more rocks on in the next episode or 2. So it's getting there. It's sitting right over here right now, and I'd love to show you, but yeah, I gotta make you wait. We gotta go in order, right? So, okay, that's too much of a tease. Hey, take care of you, take care of your bonsai, and we're gonna catch you very soon.